Can Africa become the world's breadbasket? Welcome to our Learn Africa TV. They call it the land of promise. A continent with 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land. From the green highlands of Ethiopia to the vast savannas of Zambia, Africa breathes life into the soil. But despite its natural blessings, Africa still imports food worth billions every year. So the question is, can Africa become the world's breadbasket? In this episode, we dive into the rich soils, the struggles of African farmers, the political games, and the seeds of hope that could feed the world. This is not just a documentary, this is Africa's agricultural awakening. Africa is not poor. It is richly blessed with sunshine all year, rainfall patterns in many regions, and soil that once fed empires. The Nile Valley birthed one of humanity's oldest civilizations. The Sahel once grew grains for kingdoms. Nigeria, Tanzania, Kenya, and Ghana are just a few countries with fertile belts stretching for miles. Yet, Africa imports over $40 billion in food every year. That's the irony, a land of abundance feeding from ships. But here's the catch. It's not because Africa can't grow. It's because it hasn't been allowed to grow. African farmers are some of the most hard-working people on the planet, yet the least equipped. Most rely on hand tools, no irrigation, and outdated seeds. Access to capital is limited. One farmer said, "They ask for collateral, but my land has no title. How do I prove I own the soil under my feet?" Corruption in agriculture budgets, lack of rural roads, and poorly funded research mean many harvests are lost before they reach markets. Climate change is hitting Africa hard. Floods, droughts, and pests wipe out months of sweat in days. And then there's land grabbing, foreign companies buying thousands of hectares for export crops, pushing locals off their own land. It's a silent war between survival and profit. In Burkina Faso, 19-year-old Awa Diarra started a cooperative of young women farming onions and tomatoes. They use mobile phones to track market prices and YouTube to learn irrigation tricks. In Kenya, a group of Maasai farmers turned from cattle to regenerative farming using compost and smart water traps to grow millet and beans in dry lands. In Nigeria, a tech startup called FarmGrid is linking smallholder farmers to investors, while drones monitor crop health. These stories are not rare. They're spreading like seeds across the continent. The youth are not waiting. They're planting change. Here's a simple truth. If Africa feeds itself, it will feed the world. With just 10% of its arable land fully cultivated, Africa could multiply food production by 2 to 3 times with the right support. Agro-processing could turn raw cassava into flour, tomatoes into paste, and mangoes into export-grade juice. Modern storage could reduce post-harvest losses by 40%. With proper investments, Africa could become the breadbasket not only for its people, but for Asia, Europe, and beyond. But this vision needs more than soil. It needs political will, infrastructure, technology, and access to fair trade. Why hasn't this happened yet? Because global powers don't want Africa feeding itself. Food is power. If you control what people eat, you control how they live. Multinational corporations flood the market with cheap imports that undercut African farmers. Some African governments prioritize cash crops like cocoa and tobacco for foreign exchange, rather than food for local tables. And then there's the debt trap, where African nations must pay off billions, leaving little for farm investment. It is not a lack of ability, it is a system designed to keep Africa begging instead of planting. But something is shifting. A green revolution is rising, African style. Senegal is testing solar irrigation across thousands of small farms. Ethiopia is investing in agro-industrial parks. Rwanda is digitizing land ownership to empower women farmers. Pan-African alliances are forming, sharing seeds, knowledge, and solidarity. And the African Continental Free Trade Area is making it easier for food to move across borders. This isn't charity. Its strategy: the world is hungry, Africa has the land. The question is no longer can Africa become the breadbasket. It's, will Africa rise and take its place at the table? Africa's destiny is not to be fed, it is to feed. From village farms to AI-powered fields, the continent is growing not just crops but courage. The world is watching, the future is hungry. And Africa, if it believes in itself, may just be the one to feed us all. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Learn Africa TV for more untold truths, powerful stories, and the voice of a continent that refuses to be silent.